Adam here with the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the 2025 Honda CR-V Hybrid. So we'll look at some of the trim options, the interior, the exterior, and then we'll go for a spin around to see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 2025 CR-V Hybrid, and there's three different trim levels. So there's Sport, Sport L, and then the Sport Touring. So this is the mid-tier trim level. So we'll cover some of the equipment in this one, some optional stuff, or some stuff you can even take away. But let's put it in drive and go for a spin around. Now, there is a regular CR-V and then the CR-V Hybrid. So any of the sport trims would designate the hybrid powertrain. And basically what you're getting from the engine is a 2-liter 4-cylinder, and that's going to have 2 electric motors on there. So this is not a plug-in hybrid. This simply just regenerates as you're driving around to help you get the best possible fuel economy. Now, this is going to give you about 204 horsepower, and it's going to be paired to a CVT transmission. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like one constant automatic, but there will be paddle shifters in this model, so if you feel like getting a little sporty, you can click through the paddles and drive that way. But basically, on your digital gauge cluster here, it would say ready, and then it would go into a EV mode. So if you see that EV pop up, that means you're just using electric power. So with a combined fuel economy, this is the all-wheel drive. So it comes standard with front-wheel drive. I think it's about a $1,500 upgrade to go with the all-wheel drive. You're going to be at 40 mpg on the highway and about 37 mpg combined. So the front-wheel drive, obviously we'd get a little bit better than that, but if you're living in Minnesota, dealing with these Minnesota winters, I think it's an excellent upgrade to get the all-wheel drive, as you don't really sacrifice that much fuel economy. Now let's talk about the exterior. So the hybrid will come, like I said, with the blacked out wheels. This one gets the black mirror caps. You get those low profile roof rack rails up above, which you can obviously add the crossbars to if you're into some of the outdoor activities. Now what else is cool, this is the Urban Gray Pearl, and I think this color does look really cool. It is an optional upgrade for the CR-V Hybrid, but I think it's worth it. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it does reflect really nicely and gives, especially with the black wheels, a pretty cool appearance to this vehicle. Now up front, you're gonna have the LED headlights up there, and there's these really cool daytime running lights that runs up front, and then the blacked out grille with the CR-V Hybrid. Now back, you're gonna have parking sensors along with up front here too, and there's gonna be a power liftgate in the Sport L trim. So you can do that on the remote, or you can click the button on the back, and that makes it very convenient for loading stuff up. Now in the back, you have quite a bit of storage space. Obviously, if you want more room, you can go up to the Pilot or the Passport, but for the CR-V being the mid-size SUV, I was surprised at just how much headroom I had in the second row and how much cargo space I got in the back. If you end up buying something strange at IKEA and need a little bit more room, you can kick down the 60-40 split second row, and that's gonna give you just a little bit of extra hauling space if you're not bringing people with you. But in the second row, there's going to be air vents back here for humans or for pets, which I find really nice. And you're also going to have some USB-C charging back there. If you're going on a long road trip, not only are you going to get excellent fuel economy, but everybody in the second row is going to be happy. But what about you in the driver's seat? These seats are extremely comfortable and the ride is very pleasant in here. I think that the Honda CR-V is one of those tried and true names that you've come to expect to be able to get into the vehicle and know how everything works. When I hop in, I want to know how to turn the air conditioning on, how to put the vehicle into drive. I don't want to be confused by the vehicle, or if I throw someone the keys, are they going to be able to get in the car and figure it out? And the Honda CR-V is simple, but not oversimplified. So the Sport L goes from the smaller 7-inch display up to the 9-inch display. And now I've got my phone on the wireless charging pad down here, and I've got wireless Apple CarPlay. You can use Android Auto as well, but the CarPlay I use all the time, and it's very convenient when you're on the go. Text messaging, Google Maps, Spotify, all that's going to be built right into here, and this screen is very responsive. Some of the other manufacturers have a little bit of kind of lagginess to the screen, if that makes sense when you're using it, and it's not always very crisp. This one, if you flick through, it's simple and it's easy to use, and it does work very well. So now you can hear. It's dead silent in here. It's gone into the EV mode, and then the engine kicks back in seamlessly when I put my foot down to get going a little bit quicker. It's not a harsh transition. If you weren't looking at the gauge cluster, you wouldn't even know that it's switching back and forth from full EV into the gas motor. But like I said, the ride is actually really nice. It's just got a good, easy driving feel. The steering isn't too heavy, it's not too light, and going over some of these bumps and road joists and stuff, the 18-inch wheels on the outside give you a little bit more tire or sidewall, and I find that very smooth and comfortable just cruising around town. But again, into the driver's seat here, we've got a dual climate control. Like I said, these seats are really comfortable. It's going to be power on this side with lumbar and heated for those Minnesota winters. So you can kick on the remote start that comes standard on the key fob for the Sport L. The vehicle is going to be nice and toasty when you hop in the winter, or cool it down really nicely in the summer. Now, this particular model also gets the small sunroof up above. It's not a full panoramic in this one, but it does open it up nicely, especially with the all black interior. And on our steering wheel, like I said, the leather appointed seats also goes onto the wheel and the shift knob. So that's going to be a leather wrapped steering wheel shift knob combo in this model. And I love the orange stitching that comes through here. It works really nicely with the urban gray pearl on the outside. The orange is in the steering wheel and the seats onto the shift boot here, and it does look pretty cool. But let's talk about safety. So like I said, if you and your family are going to be in the vehicle, obviously the Honda sensing safety features are going to be very important. You're going to have things like road departure mitigation, there's a blind spot information system that you can turn on or off, low speed brake control, and the backup camera, like I said, with the parking sensors, makes it really easy to park. And this vehicle, the size that it is, makes it really easy to just kind of shoot into a parking spot. And especially with the backup camera, you can move it a few different ways to see straight down, behind you. That's really cool as well. But on the steering wheel, you've also got one of my other favorite features, which is the adaptive cruise control system. So you can set 4, 3, 2, 1 car length distances ahead of you, and it's going to keep that distance on the side road or on the highway. If you're doing cabin trips, camping trips, you're cruising around, that can definitely take a load off, and it makes it very easy to eat up a lot of miles on the road. One of the other cool things, there's a voice control system. So if I click this button on the left, I can actually say or ask the vehicle to do something, and it will program to a different radio station, or there's a few different things you can ask it to do, which again is very safe and convenient when you're on the road. So the 25 goes pretty much unchanged from the 2024 model year, but that's for good reason. It's because it's great. There's a lot of equipment that you're getting in here, and I think if you're considering maybe the regular CR-V or going up to the CR-V hybrid, yes, the price point does change a little bit, but you are getting that better fuel economy in return and a little bit more horsepower on tap. But I mean, overall, this vehicle, the Sport L with the urban gray paint, is coming in at about $40,600. So yes, the MSRP is a little bit higher, like I said, on the hybrid, but I think the returns you're going to get with the fuel economy, the long-term usability, definitely pays off if you're considering maybe between those two or some of the other hybrids on the market. A lot of new cars are very similar these days, so it really does break down to getting into the vehicle, getting behind the wheel and seeing what it fits like. Open up the hatch. The rear seats do recline a little bit, and maybe that's an important feature or something you didn't know you needed for the kids until you actually get into this vehicle. One other thing I didn't notice until I got in here today, the rear doors open to almost a perfect 90 degrees. So if you've got the car seats, you're fumbling with those, you've done it before, that versus maybe the door only opening at about 70 degrees can make a pretty big difference. And it's little things like that that day to day definitely make the CR-V hybrid very usable and livable. So overall, what do I think? I like the driving position in here. I love all this safety stuff. Obviously you can turn it off if you don't want any of that stuff on. The wireless CarPlay is an excellent upgrade, and I think the Sport L might be the trim to look at. The Sport Touring does get a little bit more expensive, but yes, you are adding a little bit more creature comfort into the vehicle. But overall, if you're looking for a hybrid SUV or a regular crossover SUV, I think you gotta get out and take the CR-V hybrid for a spin and see what you think. So that was just a quick look and drive at the 2025 Honda CR-V Hybrid. Now, if you'd like more information or to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by our Honda location in Burnsville. At any time, we'd be more than happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.